comics, we are drowning in them.
In fact, we don't even have time to do an introduction. We just have to get right to it.
Boom. Let's start off with, this is Reverse Flash, also known as Flash number 23.2. This is from the second wave of DC 3D lenticular villain covers, because it is still September. It is still villain month.
In fact, there's like 2 more weeks of villains.
Now, we could spend the entire video talking to you about how many villains there are this week, but we chose the best of the best of the best this week. This is Reverse Flash, written by Brian Buccellato and that other guy that works on The Flash, Francis Manapul, but it's drawn this month by Scott Hepburn, who recently did part of the Enemy Within crossover from Avengers Assemble and Captain Marvel. Really, really fantastic work there. It's super stylized. I'd say it might even look better than the Flash book has in the last few months with Francis Manapul drawing it.
And he drew Orchid for Tom Morello, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that was awesome looking.
Yeah. Let's see what we got. After, I don't even know how many years, Lock and Key is almost done. One more issue. It's over. This is Lock and Key Alpha? Yeah, Alpha.
Yes,
Alpha is the beginning. Probably the next issue is Lock and Key Omega. I don't know. But basically, this is $8 worth of Gabriel Rodriguez being awesome. Joe Hill basically
being terrifying.
Yeah, scaring the crap out of you. But yeah, don't wait for the collection. We know you're caught up. Just friggin' get the comic. There's only 2 of them, and you're gonna,
And there's no ads in it.
There's no ads.
There's like 3 pages in the back advertising like other Lock and Key stuff.
Right, and like the keys that you can buy.
Yeah.
Because you have lots of money, and whatever.
It's solid comic.
That's right.
And from Vertigo this week, we have not only the 3rd issue of FBP, Federal Bureau of Physics, formerly known as Collider, we also have a reprinted copy of number 1 with the shiny new title, because you're looking at your first issue and you're like, this is really cool, really pink, great cover, but it says Collider on it. It doesn't match the rest of mine.
No, you're gonna come in
We
and
have it solved.
look for Collider number 2. It's just not gonna be there. You gotta get down with the FBP. I don't know. No Collider for you. Too much stuff this week. Too much stuff. Alright. Prophet, you know about it. We were mentioning it this week because this is an all-star cast of artists. You got Matt Sheenan, Malachi Ward, Stoko, Aaron Conley, Simon Roy, Ron Wimberly, and Brandon Graham on one page.
Ron Wimberly took time out of his busy schedule drawing comics for Run DMC to bring you this.
That's alright. You know how much money he's probably getting paid to do that? Jesus. But yeah, this is the all Die Hard issue. Do we need to say more? No.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
Fight bots. It's just fighting robots.
Fucking fighting robots.
And from Marvel this week, we have the first issue of a new Avengers book. This is Mighty Avengers by Al Ewing and Greg Land. It ties into Infinity. Basically, you know the basic plot summary of Infinity. The Avengers have gone off of Earth. Thanos shows up because there's no Avengers. Well, now there are. Luke Cage and a ragtag band of Avengers, because, it can't be Luke Cage on a team if it's not ragtag.
That's right.
It's just not.
And there's not even Iron Fist. They didn't let any white people in this book.
Spider-Man.
Oh. Well,
he's their token.
I suppose,
token white guy on the team.
Alright, well, you gotta have the token, dude. It's true. Oof. Yes, large, hardcover. It looks like a legitimate book. It is RASL by Jeff Smith. This is his more dull sci-fi art thief, weird kind of time-hopping, dimension-hopping art thief. The issues were printed in black and white. This collection is done in color with retouched panels by Jeff Smith himself. So if you were digging the black and white and you want to see kind of a different mood, because this stuff, if you've read Bone or whatever, black and white Bone is very different from color Bone. Doing a comic in black and white it's a certain type of thing, certain type of feel. But Jeff Smith is definitely able to do both. So this is what, like $40? This is a lot of comic.
Yeah.
And for Jeff Smith, he finished it in like a couple of years, which is amazing.
Right. And Image this week has the first volume of Jonathan Hickman and Nick Dragotta, because you can't just talk about the writer. Jonathan Hickman, Nick Dragotta's East of West, this sci-fi, fantasy, alternate history, western, apocalyptic thing.
Done. Yeah.
It's 10 books.
It's 10 bucks.
Like 6 issues.
Yeah. Basically, there's the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, Death quits, and the other 3 have to go and hold him accountable. Because, shit, you're the angel of death, maybe you get tired of it. It's happened before. It's a common thing, actually. What else we got? Alright. Whoops. Oh, yeah. Alright. Mars Attacks, Judge Dredd. Now, we've never talked about a Mars Attacks books, much like that Star Wars book last week. But oh crap, this is Al Ewing, who getting paid a lot more to write the Avengers, obviously. And John McCrae, who's awesome and nasty, and he draws horrible comics that you probably shouldn't read. He was big on Hitman years ago. He also did Dicks, which was really, really offensive. But, I mean, how do you mess up aliens in Judge Dredd? You don't. He punches them in the face. He shoots them. He kills them. End of story. Do you need more? No. No. And there's giant bugs. And there's little cards in here, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, they take the original Mars Attacks cards and use them as a storytelling device within the comic, which is totally legit.
Very cool. It's good for a Mars Attacks comic.
Alright. Jeffrey Brown, who has recently done such amazing titles as...
Incredible Chase Box.
Daddy's Little Princess.
And Daddy's Little
about
Princess.
Darth
Star
Vader's
Wars,
relationship with Princess Leia, and I think he did one more story.
He did. It was the Anakin or the Luke Skywalker one. Which was really funny. We sold out of both of those immediately.
He has done yet another children's Star Wars book. This is Jedi Academy, the Young Readers Edition, featuring such things as Gym Teacher Chewbacca and Yoda. There's a great panel in there where it's like a handwritten journal from this kid hanging out at Jedi Academy, and he's like, oh, well, I thought Yoda was gonna be this super badass, like, scarred up Jedi master, and then he's just some tiny puppet.
Right?
Lots of wrinkles. It has like little diagrams about all of Yoda's wrinkles. It's amazing.
Jeffrey Brown's crazy. Speaking of someone else who is going way off the deep end, for all of you who do or do not know, Frank Miller wrote the screenplay for RoboCop 2 and RoboCop 3. He was even the drug dealer, or well, the drug maker, the chemist in RoboCop 2, and he was killed horribly, which, you know. But they completely edited his thing. I mean, you know, you have Frank Miller, unfiltered RoboCop, you know, you're thinking way over the top, crazy, you know, Detroit, giant robot, drugs, lots of violence, whatever. You can't quite film that, but you can draw it. You absolutely can. You have Juan Jose Rip, who is kind of the poor man's Jeff Darrow. You know.
Yeah, and he has certainly made a name for himself in recent years.
Absolutely.
As the dude that does exactly what Jeff Darrow
Exactly.
does.
But this is the straight vision of Frank Miller. This is the hardcore 80s, super gritty, way over the top RoboCop that you wish you saw. It's been out of print for years, and now it is back to coincide with the RoboCop Last Stand comic, which number 2 came out this week as well. And it wasn't bad. But this is the shit. Absolutely.
We've also got the second issue of Ballistic by Derek Robertson, of course, of Transmetropolitan and The Boys,
That's right.
and his friend Adam Egypt Mortimer, who has a really cool middle name.
That's right.
We talked about this before when we got in a couple times.
Last week, because we got the number 1s back in.
I mean, dude, he has a flying car with eyes, and his
is-
gun is addicted to drugs,
Right?
and
Grant Morrison says it's the favorite comic of 2013. Are you going to argue with Grant Morrison? Well,
I don't think you
probably.
can
I
argue
don't know
with
if you
Grant
can,
Morrison.
but yeah, we'll move on from there. Alright, there's just too many good collections this week. Like, I really hope you people have been saving your pennies. Because there's the RoboCop one, and then there's this. In one book, all together. Yes, that is a recolored cover. No, it's not recolored inside, though. Of the epic masterpiece that is Jim Steranko, Nick Fury. If you've never read S.H.I.E.L.D. by Jim Steranko, A, come over here so I can slap you. And B, shame on you. Put back whatever you were getting this week and get this. Because this is absolutely, every page makes you cry because it's so amazing. It
It's
really
true.
does. You know, I
don't have any tears left in my
no,
eyes.
no. There's Fu Manchu in here. There's, you know, Hydra stuff. There's more frigging giant, badass, weird psychedelic architecture than you could shake a stick at. My God. I know. I don't know. It's one of the most amazing things I've ever read. Psychedelic comics done before, you know, computers were invented, and yeah. S.H.I.E.L.D. Steranko.
Marvel has another Infinity tie-in this week. This is the beginning of... this is the first actual miniseries.
Yes, the
tie-in
first
so far.
tie-in. Yeah.
This is Infinity the Hunt. It's basically, from what I can tell, sort of like they're doing a Hunger Games style thing, even more so than
the Avengers Arena.
with Avengers Arena.
Right.
Where they just happen to conveniently get all of the Avengers kids that aren't in Avengers Arena and all the X kids in one place just in time for Thanos to show up on Earth and be like, oh yeah, one of my generals, why don't you go just mess all of them up?
I mean, it's written by Matt King, you know, who has a
great track record.
Yeah, he's been really pushing a lot on the superhero stuff lately. And Steven Sanders, who, if I'm not wrong, did that Sword book.
Yes, he did Sword
Which
as
was
well
rad.
as Five Fists of Science, which
Yeah,
is one of the
yeah.
greatest things ever made.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Definitely Matt King, glad that he's getting more superhero stuff.
Whoosh.
Continuing the massive, massive collections that you wish you had enough money for.
I gotta look away.
Morgan's gonna. I mean, Steranko was already. I mean, you got RoboCop and then Steranko. I mean,
one man can only take
one man
so
can only
much.
take so much. This beautiful tome of psychedelic oblivion is best of Milligan and McCarthy. Peter Milligan, Brendan McCarthy, two of the greatest. Well, one of the greatest teams in comics ever. I mean, it'd be like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby if they were from London and they were art school dropout punks and they drank a lot and did drugs in the 80s. So it's not really like them at all, but...
So basically, it's like Hewlett and Martin.
It's totally like Hewlett and Martin. I mean, these guys are kind of contemporaries, actually, of Hewlett. But yeah, if you don't know about Brendan McCarthy beams comics from other dimensions. And he has done this with Peter Milligan for many years. And his stuff on his own, it's awesome, but it's definitely a little... And Peter Milligan helps kind of rein him in. And Milligan even did the lettering early on in this stuff. I mean, it is everything that's taken me 10 years and way more than $25 to get. And you have it in one book, oversized, with extras. This has Freakwave, this has Paradax, this has Merc and the Mystic, and it has Rogan Gosh. Do you know how awesome his fucking sneakers are? Oh. Rogan Gosh has the coolest sneakers ever.
I want them.
I know, I want them really bad. But yeah, $25, again, this is slappable if you don't buy it. Like, slappable offense.
Alright, shall we tie it up now?
We got some quasi-locally stuff in.
A bunch of small press books this week.
Yeah.
We got Copra. We got After Twilight. We got these Star Trek Next Generation Alien Field Guides that we had in a while back.
This kid, Joshua Chapman, so he's been writing these things as if he was from a teenager, you know, or from basically middle school up to high school in the 90s. And you look at them and you think they're about the field guide, you know, to aliens. It's not. Really, this kid has an abusive mom, and if you read it, he's got some weird-ass things in here where he starts talking about how much he hates his mother, and he wants her to die, and she, like, beats him, and all this stuff. I'm not making this up, I just saw this today. This is intense!
I know he did that with, he did another, like, small choose-your-adventure style book, which was also
which
totally not about what it looks like it is.
Yeah, which we got back in, which is Love is Constantly Not Wondering If You're Making the Biggest Mistake Ever. Which is a great name. But no, in this one he talks about, well, you know what? I'm not even going to spoil it because it is messed up, and it's a great insight into a really, really messed up kid from a small town in the 90s. And
there's also another little project of his, which
he brings you how to talk to your cat about gun safety. You know why? Because it's very important. Because your dog is too dumb to find your gun. But your cat
might shoot you.
Your cat
Cats
might shoot
are
you.
assholes.
It's true. And you know what? If you open this up, there's multiple pictures of cats with guns. We're talking gangster cats. I mean, they're rolling deep here. And so you gotta make sure that you don't get shot in the middle of the night by your cat. It's cheap. It's $2. If you own a cat, I would highly suggest buying it. Absolutely. And I think that's it for the mess of crap that was this week.
Holy crap, we made it through. We didn't even have time for a cover of the week.
No, we didn't even have time for the cover of the week. I mean, but whatever. We'll just show covers for stuff we had before.
Oh, just look at all of them.
Awesome.
They're beautiful.
But yeah, so much this week. It is the last week of summer, so this is kind of the last blowout summer comics thing. We are also having our monthly meeting tonight, 6:30. It'll be hot as hell.
Yeah,
today.
It's gonna be like 90 degrees.
It's gonna be like 90, so what better way to come celebrate the heat than sit in a sweaty comic book shop with other stinky people and talk comic books? I mean, I know that's my game plan for the day, obviously. I mean, I'm here all day anyway, so.
You don't have a choice in that.
I don't have a choice either. I mean, you know, but if you do come, shower, I mean, it's probably gonna be stinky, whatever. But yeah, I think that's about it, and thank you as always, Morgan.
Oh yeah,
it's always a pleasure, and we'll see you next week.